Good morning, welcome everybody to the Ink Archive. I am your host today, Tyler, and I am joined here by Briar. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself,
I
Tyler?
am doing awesome. I am super excited. This is going to be our set 8 Reign of Jafar set champs here at House Rules Gaming in Central Florida. I am so excited. This has been a long time in the making, a lot of effort and a lot of work
Oh,
from
yes.
so many people. We're excited. We have something like 26 players today, 5 rounds, and then we'll do our top cut to top 8. And I'm super excited.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a very exciting thing. We are all excited to see how this is going to even turn out. Because, I mean, we've got 5 rounds of Swiss cutting into top 8, and we've got some really good players here. Some that we've seen in our past set champs, and some even new players that I'm ready to see and see what they're going to bring to the table here and have some fun with.
Yeah. So our round 1 here, we're gonna start moving into it right now. I think I know players are doing their altars and all that kind of stuff. We'll move them in just a couple minutes. Do we have those deck lists?
I do. I am bringing them up for us now.
Awesome. Sounds great. I think the one player is typically a red purple player, but he could be on red blue, something of the nature. It'll be super exciting to see what these two players bring to the table.
Yeah, we have one that is going to be playing, who is our player 2. He is going to be playing a Ruby Sapphire deck here. It looks like it's going to be very similar to, like, I want to say like an item build. Is what it looks like here. He's got some couple items in the deck, but it might actually be more shark related, actually, with a Maui Half Shark. It might be
Oh, okay.
what we got going on here.
Yep. So it's more something like we saw at Worlds with DKP.
Yes.
I do see the Merlin's Carpet Bag. As we've seen, I do really like that card in there. Sometimes that deck runs into trouble being able to get its popsicles back because it does rely on the crab. And being able to get it back with the Merlin's Carpet Bag just every turn, generating some amount of card value, which the deck has, um, can be an issue. So I'm excited to see some Ruby Sapphire game.
Yeah, and I think our next one we have is going to be let's see here. Do, 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 do. It is going to be it actually might be a mirror match.
Oh.
We might actually have a mirror match. Or at well,
Oh,
it's a
okay. I've
very
seen
similar
this.
mirror match. This actually is going to be an interesting match.
I've seen this. So this is some. I've seen it. It's a Ruby Sapphire. It's playing the Tinkerbell that cares about everything being 5 strength and coming in and gaining 2 lore. So it's like big bodies, and I think it might even be on the Maximus.
This actually might be a very interesting match seeing this because I haven't got to see this deck
Yeah.
being played yet. So this is going to be a really fun one.
Yeah. I know we're in the game right now, looking at just a couple popsicles, a couple items getting thrown around, and a Flynn Rider being on the table here. It looks like uh, our player Dylan here. I think if I'm him and I'm on this Ruby Sapphire like Strength Matters deck, I just want to turbo this stuff out. Get underneath of this other Ruby Sapphire, gain as much lore as possible, and then just hope to close the game out with like a Tinkerbell at some point. So we'll have to see what he decides to do. These first couple turns will be a little slow. Both players I know will be doing a little bit of ramping here and there. Dylan not so much. We'll have to see what he decides to do on this turn here. If he wants to try and get this Tinkerbell down, or if he's gonna wait a little bit and try to do a little bit more setup.
Yeah, we're debating here, and of course, Jonathan here is our player 2, and he's got his like a Vital Sphere down here and played a Sail kind of just to get some ramping going on here and getting some lore, or not even lore, but some ink down pretty quickly, and seeing what we can do. Looks like we actually got to see a Sail from our Dylan's player here. He is currently playing that Sail, inking some cards, drawing some cards, ramping up, and seeing what we can do here.
Yeah. Like I said, I think he's gonna start trying to take these turns to deploy Tinkerbell, and then I think I saw like the Prince John in his hand, so he's just gonna try and start dropping these bigger bodies, these heavier strength characters to start triggering this Tinkerbell, and hopefully relying on this Flynn to just start really like pushing the lore early and try to get underneath of all these be prepared he's about to start seeing. um, from his opponent.
See a Tipo coming down here, being played, inking some cards possibly, and yep, putting that card down and getting some more extra ink here on Sama's side. Um, we're gonna see another card inking for turn, popping this Vitalis Sphere, challenging into this Flynn here, knocking it out and banishing it, just so we could get off the board, so that Dylan can't really gain any lore from it.
Yeah, I mean that Flynn is a huge threat. Sama does not have a ton of stuff to be able to like challenge this Flynn, and especially if he's not going to 6 ink this next turn or be able to like play a crab to start challenging this Flynn's strength, then he's going to lose to this Flynn. So he needs to get it off the table. But he's also got to be worried about this Tinkerbell. This Tinkerbell is evasive, will also start gaining lore, which is quite nice. And Sama doesn't have like crazy good ways to get rid of it without like the shark. So he has to worry about this Tinkerbell just a little bit, doing like chip damage every turn.
Yeah, this Tinkerbell can definitely be a menace in this deck here, and just protecting itself is going to be great.
Yeah, and even this Prince John, that'll take damage. He actually has I forget the name of the card.
Prince John, Friendly Cat?
No,
Oh,
the other card, the blue card he's got in his hand. Why am I blanking? Oh, the big hero 6.
Oh,
Robot.
Baymax?
Baymax, thank you. I couldn't think of the name. He's got this Baymax in his hand, so even if Sama does start dropping some amount of characters, it's only good for Dylan. Like it's being able to just, I'm going to gain an extra 2 because you thought you could play some characters onto this damaged Prince John. I kind of like this little wombo combo that Dylan's got in his hand right now.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a fun little combo that we are going to be seeing here. And we're already putting some damage here on that John to potentially get to heal at some point, which is going to be great.
Yeah, I think maybe he wants to try and hold out for like one other turn, but his opponent's getting the like be prepared ink, so he does have to be a little bit careful about overcommitting to this board. Not that he's like super committed right now, but he also doesn't have a ton of cards in his hand, so he has to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, they definitely got to be some careful here. And it looks like even Sama's got two Mauis. He's got a Maui half shark and a Maui hero to all in his hand here with a be prepared and a let it go, which that can be definitely devastating here to get rid of this Tinkerbell and to get rid of even this Prince John with the let it go. And even if we needed to play be prepared, wipe the whole board and banish everything.
Yeah, he has a lot of removal in his hand. He did ink the shark. So that's quite interesting. I wonder if he just feels like he's not going to be able to get it down unless he saw a second one. I'm not sure entirely if he saw a second one. I'm wondering what he's going to start. Yeah, he did ink his shark. I wonder if he is just going to try and play this be prepared and start like waiting for Dylan to start to overcommit a little bit, and then get him with this be prepared and hope that like he's like restarting the game at 8 ink instead of both starting at 0.
Yeah, that might be the plan. And of course, now we get to see a Flynn here come down. It's not. It actually gains quite a bit here because we do get that Prince John being at 5 strength. Then we get to play another Prince John coming down. Man, we're going to be getting some Johns here. This is going to be some good time for some be prepared time right now.
Yeah, this is exactly what Sama was kind of waiting for. Was like, hey, I want my opponent to go all in on the board, and I want to drop this, be prepared, and then just kind of restart. Unfortunately, he doesn't have anything to really start winning the game himself, but he, at least he's resetting the game at a more comfortable ink total than his opponent. So hopefully he can keep Dylan off of winning the game with like his Pirate's Life and all of his like super expensive cards.
Yeah, and we see Dylan, of course, now at 11 lore here and to 0. It's going to be kind of nuts here. He might be able to get some lore pretty quickly, but we might even see this B prep here cleaning that board. It looks like we thinking about it, seeing what card we drew. We drew a McDuck Manor. Ooh,
Yeah.
Okay. We can play this location down next turn and protect some things. Questing for 1. And now we're finally up on the board with Sama. And then we get to see what are we going to ink for the turn. Probably going to play that Be Prepared.
Yeah, if I saw it's probably he's looking at it right now. Yeah, this Maui I feel like is the best thing. He's gonna play this Be Prepared, and now everything's reset, and Dylan's only got one card in his hand, so he is gonna have to rely on this his Baymax in his hand to put in some work, which I don't think is the card is like a bad card to start doing it. It does quest for 2, it does heal things, it does a little bit of everything. Um, and so hopefully you can just get something that like wants to take a little bit of damage and drop it down.
Yeah. Of course, we see a bell here coming down and just kind of just sitting here, at least having a character on board. So this could be a pretty good thing, kind of at least starting getting some characters. But Sama's going to be playing this McDuck Manor and just trying to gain some lore, just passive lore at the start of every turn with this card from the location. And it's going to be very hard to deal with on Dylan's side. He's going to be taking a very hard time to deal with it.
Yeah, he can start using this spell to like chip at it, but Sama does have this let it go in his hand. So he can just like if it starts to get threatened too much, he can just kind of point at a thing on the table and say, "Hey, I don't want that attacking my McDuck Manor anymore," which is pretty huge for Sama. But it looks like Dylan is taking the approach of just racing him, which I don't hate either. He knows that his opponent's playing probably some amount of Pirate's Life with the deck he's seen. So I wonder if he's more worried about getting owned by like Pirate's Life and stuff like that.
Yeah, and he does actually have this Goofy, which is a flying Goofy, which has Rush and Evasive and 5 strength. So he can actually come down and put some damage onto this McDuck Manor to take it out pretty quickly next turn if he wanted to, which could be really nice.
Yeah, I mean it's just a big man.
Yeah, no, he's definitely a flying Goofy.
Yeah, we'll have to see what if Sama can hold on here and just get out from underneath of um the racing that Dylan's going to try to do. But he does get a crap down, so he's going to start drawing cards again, which is a huge thing for this version of Ruby Sapphire, just not being able to draw enough cards sometimes.
Yeah, and this Tamatoa happy as a clam is definitely going to be making him happy.
He really wants to start drawing some cards, especially because he's been pretty low for a while and really just wants to get a bunch of answers in his hand and just keep saying, "Hey, I have a Be Prepared every turn to protect my McDuck Manor to try and win this."
Oh yeah, definitely.
We'll have to see what Dylan's got here. I think Dylan's deck. One of the only issues with this deck can be its draw power. Its draw power is kind of low, and so he really does rely on like the popsicles. Even his sales kind of sometimes he just has to pay 2 to draw a card. And really hope his threats stick around. And against Ruby Sapphire, that is playing Be Prepared, is kind of tough for your stuff to really stick around for a long time. So he has to make use of every card that comes down. I think another Flynn here is pretty. It's kind of being dealt with by this Tamatoa, but still having it as a threat. And if he can find a singular 5 power character, 5 strength character, which we know Dylan has a ton of, it will suddenly start to boost his lore and start really winning this game.
Well, he does have that goof in his hand. He's gonna be
Oh,
coming flying in right there,
yeah.
gaining some lure and everything next turn. But doesn't happen for long because that let it go definitely is not letting him go.
No. That Flynn cannot stay on the table for very long. That was good of Sama to recognize that like, hey, I need to get this thing off the table. It can't stay here. I will probably lose the game to this card if it sticks around for too long, and I don't see any of my Pirate's Life. He's doing a very good job of protecting this McDuck Manor. Um, we'll have to see. I know Dylan still holding on to this Baymax, still holding on to this Goofy. I'm not sure if he's ever gonna get value out of this Baymax. I'm hoping maybe at some point he just starts to deploy it and be like, "Hey, I know I'm not gonna get any value out of the damage healing, but um, I need it to just start questing for 2, and start like pushing towards the end game."
Yeah.
Is what kind of I think is Dylan should be sitting, but I wonder if he's like waiting for something. I don't know like all the cards in this deck. He might just be waiting for something that gets damage when it comes in.
Mm-hmm. First, now we get to see some visions being played, looking for some cards, trying to find some ways to either find some more crafts, find some more items, or even just finding some ways to remove even the board if we happen to get a character coming down. But it looks like Sama's in a good position here with that Tamatoa and this McDuck Manor just to gain lore throughout this turn and even the next future turns as well, as long as it doesn't get removed.
Yeah, I think someone's also looking for like any amount of removal he can get and another McDuck Manor. If he puts another McDuck Manor, Dylan is suddenly under a lot of pressure and might have to get rid of this McDuck Manor. Chooses to challenge into this Tamatoa. This is what I was talking about. He's going to try and heal with the Baymax, hopefully. Just take a little bit of damage off of it to get it to survive if anything does try to challenge it, because Baymax can only heal 2 anyways. So pretty smart play on him, and does play a Bell for free, which means he can take out the Manor next turn if nothing goes awry.
Yeah, of course, now we get to heal this Goofy too with the Popsicle, which is great. So now we get to make this Goofy stick around just for a little bit longer and not have a lot of damage. But then we can also have the Baymax come in next turn
Yeah,
and healing it,
yeah,
which is going to be even great.
yeah. That'll. I think it's like he healed it with the 1 Popsicle. It was at 4. Heals it to 2. Says now you have to have at least a 3 strength character, and it has to be evasive to challenge this Goofy, and I can probably pretty securely get this Baymax down next turn. Just has to hope that Salma doesn't have another Be Prepared or anything to stop those plans.
I mean, the nice thing is as soon as this Baymax comes down, heals that damage off the Goofy, he'll be able to gain 2 lore from it, which is going to be great.
Yeah,
And that question with those other 3 characters, so he's going to be able to gain 5 lore next turn,
yeah,
is going to be phenomenal here and gets him close to the end of that game.
yeah. He's definitely threatening to close the game. So Salma's definitely under the pressure to find a Be Prepared or even a Pirate's Life at this moment. Because even now Dylan is sitting and goes, okay, it's going to take him a little bit of time to win the game. He doesn't have a ton of pressure. Um, and Dylan is sitting here going, okay, I'm going to try and just find a Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell plus literally any 5+ character can start to just win the game. I think that's what Dylan might try to just accrue an instant win instead of keep playing characters this.
Yeah, and I don't see what the other card he drew was, but we know he has Baymax in his hand. But we need to see what that other card is. I'm curious to see if it's actually going to change the game completely, or if it's just like a simple card that just does nothing right now.
It'd be kind of cool if you saw like the Maximus. I think Maximus would be really good for him here.
Ooh, yeah,
It's
that'd be
basically
good.
a bigger Flynn, and this Goofy would trigger it. Seems like he's starting to chip down this McDuck Manor. Maybe realizes he doesn't have enough pressure to like close the game, and is expecting a Be Prepared to come down before he can actually close the game, and wants to get this McDuck Manor off the table.
Yeah, and now we get to see this Baymax being played, healing the Goofy, gaining the lore off of it, and now we get to quest with everything and pretty much getting him closer here and almost putting him at lethal for next turn. As long as Sama doesn't like challenge any of his characters and banish anything, this can be a close game. But we do have this Maui hero to all to knock out or even just banish some of these characters when it gets into challenging.
Yeah, he can at least take out the bell. This Goofy will stick around for a little bit longer. Evasive characters for Ruby Sapphire can be a little tough. They do have the shark, but they don't have any way to give it rush. So I mean, they have the Vitalosphere, but that's only so many cards, and it doesn't naturally have rush. So it is a little bit tough for Sama here. I wonder if he tries to go find Vitalosphere to deal with this Goofy. Yeah,
And
I
then there
think
it
that's
is.
what
Yeah.
he's gonna do. He won't get to do it this turn, but I think he's just in preparation for next turn if he gets there.
Yeah, and it looks like we even see a Maui hero to all in Dylan's hand here, so he can play that, take out this crab next turn, when it quests or challenges into something. So that would be great. And even put some damage into Micduck Manor if he needs to as well.
Yeah, I think Dylan just wants to end the game. I think that's where he's at. He might, if he doesn't feel like he can do it, he might try to take out this McDuck Manor. But I think ending the game might just be what's on his mind right now.
Yeah.
I'll have to say. Fortunately, just that Maui, so it can't quest. So I might, if I'm Dylan, I might want to take the line of, hey, I need to get some of this stuff off the table because I might lose the game if I don't. But we'll have to see what his draw here is.
Um,
It wasn't a Tinkerbell, was it?
couldn't tell. I know it was a Ruby card. I don't know exactly what Ruby card it is. But I did see it flash a little bit.
I think if it was a Tinkerbell, he would have just. No, he doesn't have the ink for it, I think.
So he's tapping 5 for Maui to go into the other Maui here, rushing into it, challenging it, knocking it out. So he doesn't have to worry about that 6 strength coming in, knocking out any of his characters like that Baymax when it does quest, which would be great.
Just flashed it again, and I didn't pick it up. Very sad.
Neither, I know.
I think he just has to just quest with both, and he may have been able to not quest with Baymax, maybe. If he doesn't quest with Baymax, only gets to Goofy, then maybe next turn he can quest and heal the damage off of Goofy when it challenges Tamatoa if Sama does decide to exert it. But I don't think it's a huge deal. I think Dylan feels like he's in a pretty okay spot right now. And if his opponent wants to take a turn off and attack this Baymax, I don't think he's scared.
Yeah, I know the little lore tools is a little bit different at the moment. I know they should be at 11 instead of 9.
Yeah.
And then I think 16 should be up as well instead of 16. I think by 17 at least. I'm thinking, but I may be wrong on that.
We'll get an update in a second.
But yeah, we'll update it all in a minute.
I think
19?
yes, I believe.
Yeah,
he's
I think it was
'cause
like
he quests
19.
for 3 here. He was at 16 at the start of the turn, then quest for 3 here, so he should be at 19. So he's looking at just hoping to end the game with any kind of trigger he can.
Yeah.
And not getting pirates left.
Yeah, no.
That's his biggest concern.
That's gonna be the rough one, and he definitely runs those in the deck.
Yeah.
You definitely will see those.
So, if Sama cannot take out this Goofy too, he will. This will be the end of the first game here. I wonder what Sama has up his sleeve. Oh, Lady Tremaine. Okay.
Lady Tremaine coming down here. Okay, this is gonna be really fun now.
Haven't seen the ladies in a while. That's an interesting. I haven't seen Lady Tremaine in like a Ruby Sapphire deck in a while, and I kind of like it. I really like this card. She's been a staple since she was released. I know the Madame Medusa was taking her spot for a little bit, but he decided to include it as one of his like off tech cards for things, and I don't hate it. I quite like this card and what it offers in these kinds of decks. I know some people are like on Hades or on this Tremaine, or like they have like 1 or 2 spots that are flexes, and I quite like Tremaine being one of them.
Yeah, now we get the lore finally updated here. But we see another Baymax coming down. And potentially questing for next turn because it's here. It ain't exerted, and it can gain some lore next turn as long as there's no way to remove it or any way to reduce the lore. And we get to see a pirate's life.
Yep.
Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. You know.
Yeah, this card is extremely strong, especially in this matchup here, where like Dylan been at 1 card for so long and just hasn't been able to get any like accrue any kind of value to just drop a bunch of things and end the game. This pirate life will be pretty devastating, and going to be hard to get back into this game with a Tremaine and a Tamatoa and this McDuck Manor.
Yeah, and I think this is our first pirate's life that we've seen so far.
Yeah, he hasn't seen many.
So that means he has 3 more in the deck somewhere.
Yeah.
Unless if he inked one that we couldn't see, but for the most part, he has 3 somewhere.
Yeah, like it could have been inked with the Tipo, I think is the only thing we wouldn't have seen. Or if he had to ship any to the bottom with any of his visions earlier. So I would expect, if I'm Dylan, I would probably have to expect a couple more Pirates Life heading his way if this game continues to go on.
Yeah.
Looks like we're trying to figure out
making sure
what the lore totals were here.
Yeah.
I believe Sama should be at 15. I don't think he triggered Pirate's Life.
Looks like it might actually be 17-17.
Oh, he may have forgotten to his McDuck Manor for the iPad. That's fine. We'll just keep in mind that he's at 17. hopefully our judge can maybe get over there and talk to him. Um, so it's just tied up, which is
Yeah.
pretty important. Um, this Sisu coming down. This is looking like the game's starting to close out here for Sama. There's not a ton of ways for Dylan to be able to come back into this game.
Yeah,
Love to
no.
see if he pulls a miracle though. No, that's to scoop it up and go to the next one.
Yeah, no, that's definitely got some big characters here. We got a Sisu, a Lady Tremaine, and a Tamatoa, plus a McDuck Manor. I
Yeah,
don't know if there's really anything you can do to get rid of any of that.
yeah, especially after getting hit with Pirate's Life a couple times. Like it was tough. Dylan was like so close to getting there. He just needed like, if I think if one of those Flints had lived for even a turn, the game was his. Um, I think it was good. Like both players played really well that game. It just that Pirate's Life decided to change the entire shift of the game, and also this McDuck Manor that just got to sit around. It's tough to decide when you need to like start swinging into this McDuck Manor and get it off the table, or just leave it and hope you can race it. And I don't think Dylan was wrong in his decision. He was really hoping to just get another Tinkerbell plus a 5 strength character and play them both in the same turn and win the game. And I don't hate that play from him.
Yeah, no, that definitely seemed like the best spot. I mean, he was up by
Yeah.
11 lore at the time,
Yep.
which is the smart thing to do, is to race that, because there was really no quick way for Sama to even get close to that
Yeah.
in a turn or two.
Yeah. And he it was gonna take Dylan like 2 or 3 turns to actually get up to its willpower in that 9 willpower. He always had like a 3 and a 5 and never really had a way to like either swing at it in one turn, or it was always gonna take him like 3 turns, and that's just a lot of momentum to lose for the style of deck that he's. It also helps, I think, that Dylan really does want to. I think he was on the play in the first game too, but he does really want to be on the play for the most part. Really wants to get this Flynn down before anything else can happen, so that he starts gaining more. Because I don't think Salman's actually playing anything earlier than turn like 3 or 4 that can actually challenge Flynn's strength himself. And so I think Flynn will trigger himself, um, which is pretty important. Like even if in this matchup specifically, Flynn doesn't need anything necessarily by its side until we start getting to like 8 ink, and that's when it starts to really matter, which is nice for Dylan.
Yeah, because I mean, like the only thing he does have is the Grammatala that has that 3 strength.
Yeah.
And before that, you literally only have Tipo, and then any removal would be Brawl, would be
Yeah.
the other removal that he has for that early game removal from
But
Flynn.
if Sama has to play Brawl on a Flynn, it feels, especially for Ruby Sapphire, it feels really bad to do on like turn 3, or like typically someone wants to be at 4 ink on turn 3, and if you're having to Brawl and take a turn off, like it can be pretty tempo negative for someone to do that. Really, Brawl wants to be here for like the genies and the other like problematic evasives that he can't deal with that are just gonna start questing on him because he only has the one evasive character. But worst case scenario, he has um this Brawl to take out the Flynn as well. I really want to see this Maximus villain. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, no, I mean, this Maximus would be great to see coming down out here. I mean, he does have 3 copies of it, so that means you can potentially see this
Yeah,
here.
I've seen it floating around. I've seen this deck list floating around for a little while. I know some people have brought it to set champs pretty recently, and I have wanting to see it. So I'm glad we're seeing it here in round 1. But it looks like we're kicking things off here. Dylan's got another 2 Flynns in his hand, so he's really hoping that these Flynns stick around.
Yeah, that's a lot of Flynns.
I think he's got 2 Flynns and 2 Johns, so he
Oh,
just wants to go Flynn, John, and hope that he can just win the game that way. This is a very strong start from Dylan looking from his hand.
yeah, no, that's, and we can see we have 2 Grammatalas, a McDuck Manor, a half shark, and a sail, and it looks like a Tipo here coming in on Sama's side. We might be able to see, or we're going to probably see this, probably a sail come down. I'm going to take a guess, but he could play this Tipo just to have a character on board. But nope, we're playing that sail.
Yeah, I think without the Vitalosphere, Tipo, he's not so concerned with getting Tipo down. It's not going to actually challenge. He'd rather just ink it because he's not going to try and ink. He's probably not going to try and uh ramp again. Really, you really only have to ramp once in this deck, and then from there you can die and kind of do things as you need.
Yeah, now we see this Flynn here gaining 3 lore because it's the only character on the board with strength, mind you.
Yeah,
The only character. So it's just going to gain 3 lore. If there's not an answer for this guy might be very devastating to deal with. And we see a Prince John now come down.
yeah,
I don't know if there's really a way to deal with this Flynn trigger at this point unless you get rid of it.
yeah. If I know Dylan has the second one in his hand, and I know he wants to get this Prince John down, but I think he also could have safely played this other Flynn and probably gained to 6 next turn. Depending on what he did see Sama ink a Grammatala, which does kind of signal that he's not super, but he had another one. So I would have got. I think inking the first Grammatala would like signal to me personally that's like, hey, he probably doesn't have another one, or either it's safe enough to ink one because he has another one, or he's not super interested in playing Grammatala on 4. And you have to take like the gamble on which one Sama is going to choose.
Yeah, now we get to see Sama having 2 half sharks,
Yeah.
a How Far Ago, and 2 Mick Duck Manners.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to really matter because now we have the Prince John, 2 Flynns, and a Tinkerbell now on board.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to be the answer unless we see that Sisu now.
He's got to get to that.
He's got to get that quick.
He's got to how far I'll go for this turn. But unfortunately, he's not gonna be able to challenge these Flynns. Unless he sees a brawl, but that only deals with one of them. It was smart from Dylan to not deploy this other Flynn. He wanted to get another trigger off the Prince John. It secured that trigger too, and then now feels safe enough to play this thing. And I think he still has the other Prince John in his hand, so I think he's gonna be able to trigger Tinkerbell next turn too, which is like 10 plus lore in a turn, something like that. It'll be a lot.
Yeah, that's just going to be insane here. Of course, we're going to have Grandma Tala sing this How Far I'll Go, trying to find either some removal, like B prep, or even, is that a Pirate's Life in?
I think he found a Maui. He could the Hero to All.
Is it Hero All Maui?
I think so. I think that's the one he's taking. He kind of has to.
Okay, yeah, put it in the correct spot.
Yeah. I do it all the time. You have so many cards, either put it on the bottom or ink it or do something, and they get confusing all the time. It happens. I think he took that Hero to All, and I think that he absolutely has to.
It looked like that's what he took here. Yeah, because he has, it looks like, might have been like 3. Does he have 2 sharks? Oh, no, okay. So we do see Hero to All here, Maui, come down, getting ready to challenge anything if anything does decide the quest, but I don't think he really needs a quest because these Flynns are going to gain some lore just from their ability.
Well, he's got to deal with this Maui first because Maui's stopping from getting triggers because it's 6 power or 6 strength.
Yeah.
So he does have to deal with it. But if he just takes the Prince John and attacks the Grammatala, then Sama is probably incentivized to challenge his Prince John, which means he's back on getting triggers, or he just lets him have this entire board, which is also like relatively scary.
Yeah.
I do believe Dylan's at 8. Just did not hit the trigger.
He is. Yes, he is at 8.
He's at 9 now.
Now 9.
Yep, I think he's going there. Yep. Just writing everything down for you before you hit the iPad. I do think I see a brawl in Sama's hand too. I don't think he's super interested in playing it. He's just trying to turbo out these
that might have been the card instead of Maui. That might have been the brawl instead of the Maui in his hand that he grabbed.
Maybe he already had this.
It looks
Maui.
like I think he had the Hero to All in hand.
They all kind of look the same.
I know they are. They're very similar arts. They have very similar color palettes in that side corner of
the sky
of the cards
and everything.
Yeah.
Sama's very, very close to getting this Sisu online, and I think he's gonna probably try to get there if he can. He's got another Maui in his hand too. I wonder the Hero to All. So he's probably going to attack the Prince John and then play his other one, unless he wants to try to ink it and get a shark down. Maybe that's what he's planning on doing. Yeah, the shark also challenges strength enough. He doesn't exactly have to deal with this board too much because he knows that Sisu will deal with most of it because he's not too scared of these. He's dealing with this board state very well.
Yeah, and the nice thing too about Half Shark is it is evasive, so it can take care of this Tinkerbell and
Yeah,
not be a problem.
yeah. But so can I think Sama's gonna try and push for this Sisu next turn. Then he can save. Like he doesn't. I mean, he can challenge if he really wants to, and then do it. That way he gets his action back. That'll be pretty nice. Um, but that's if Dylan decides to turn it sideways into the shark, and I don't think he's super interested in doing that.
Yeah, and there's not a whole lot of actions yet to pick, but there are some pretty good ones.
Yeah, we'll have to see what Dylan decides. He's in a bit of a pickle. Doesn't have a ton of things in his hand that are like um very. I was gonna say the opposite of reactive. Don't remember the word off the top of my head.
Well,
Proactive. Thank you. I just thought of it. He doesn't have a ton of things that are like proactive in his hand right now that are able to just kind of push past this shark. Unfortunately, this shark is just a stonewall to so many decks right now. Deciding to play into it a little bit, just because he needs to try to end the game somehow. Maybe hoping that Sama feels like he has to play it be prepared and incidentally getting rid of this shark. And I don't think Dylan would entirely hate that. We'll have to see what Dylan does after inevitably the Sisu comes down.
yeah. I mean, we do have the Prince Johns here, and it could be knocked out from the shark to grab back some cards, some of those actions from the discard here. But I don't know if that's really necessary because there's not really any good actions in the discard right yet, besides like how far I go, and a couple like cards that let you dig through a couple the like the top 2, 3 cards in the deck, but nothing like really anything that will help take the game any further, but we do get to see now the Sisu coming down, taking care of the Flins and the Tinkerbell. And now the Prince Johns have the 1 damage on it because he did get to play a card, played that character.
I'm curious if Sama will even challenge because he will lose his shark, like you said, and I didn't even think about it for a second. Losing this shark will be like not awful for Sama, but he only has 1 card, so I think if he can try to take anything else out, he will. But he might have to take out one of these Johns because he can't let him sit here forever, and I don't think he has a ton of other like removal in his hand anymore.
I mean, he still has, I believe, the Hero Doll in his hand.
He has
I
the other
think he
one.
still has that one, that second
Okay.
one there. So he should still have it and being able to take care of at least one of them. I mean, little trade, but hey, taking care of one's not that bad. You at least get to deal with one and deal with the other one the next turn.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. Like Maui, that's what he's here for. He's here to take things out. So if he trades, it's not the biggest deal.
Yeah.
Dylan again with next to no cards in his hand. He's dealing with this deck that does not draw a ton, which is the one thing that really bogs him down when playing, especially in this matchup. Really, really needs to save some cards in his hand, just accrue some value. And I think if I'm Dylan, that's what I'm kind of do is I'll take a couple turns, draw a couple cards naturally, and just sit here and wait and see to just try to respond to Sama. I know he has the Goofy in his hand. Most likely it's traded, but it does gain him 2, and that's all he can hope for. A Baymax would be pretty nice here.
Oh yeah, Baymax would be really nice. Getting that down, gaining some lore, and getting to keep around the John for just a little bit longer would be
Yeah.
nice.
I have a feeling that both of these Johns are, or at least one of them, is going bye this turn. If he has that hero to all, what I think I would like him to do is just play the hero to all, take one out, and then um just quest. Start pushing damage or pushing lore, and try to start getting himself on the board because this other Prince John is not too scary unless he sees the Baymax, which is where he has to take the gamble.
Yeah.
Still got 4 left. Still could play a Grammatala, How Far I'll Go, a couple other things. Looks like he is gonna start questing with this.
There you go.
iPad going a little crazy. Start questing with this Sisu. Start really just pushing it and just making Dylan now decide: do I need to get this Sisu off the table, or do I just keep pushing with this one Prince John? Even though it's not a lot, every little lore that he gets matters when his opponent's playing Pirate's Life. Needs to get as high as he can.
Yeah, and it looks like he was debating here what he wanted to do with the half shark to grab what action he wanted to, or if he wanted to quest with it. But he did grab an action, so that he can play it next turn, or even this turn, really, if he wanted to play some extra cards, trying to find some things. But it looked like we just passed and went to the next turn.
He may even just want it for ink. I don't know what else is in his hand. He not that he needs a ton of ink anymore, but like getting Be Prepared and enough ink to play Be Prepared and Dark Commander is pretty huge for this deck. Or even just like Dark plus Brawl would be pretty nice for him right now. Or he's just saving that Develop Your Brain for his shark that he is going to play this turn.
Yeah, I mean, he has the shark, he has the brawl, and this develop now.
Yep.
He can
Smart.
pretty much do all that, and looks like that's the direction he's pretty much going with here. Gaining some lore from that shark, with playing that action, and then looking with the cards from develop and trying to see if he can find something else ready to go for next turn. Another action to gain him some more lore. But it looks like we see a Sisu, and I don't know what the other card is. But it doesn't matter because that's not what he grabbed. I'm pretty sure he grabbed that Sisu.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. It's removal and also just a good card to start closing out the game. I think that's what he's truly interested in at the moment. He just needs to start pushing towards the end game and keep Dylan off of anything that comes down. I wouldn't even be surprised to see Sama just play the Sisu next turn, even for no value. Because questing for 3 is a lot. And forces Dylan to probably play another Maui if he's got it, or like the Goofy if he sees that. To start to even take that out, it might even be more important for him to take out that Sisu than this shark right now. We'll have to see.
Yeah, no, that Sisu can definitely come down and just start gaining lore if it's not dealt with. But guess what? We get to see your favorite card. You've been waiting for it.
I have been waiting for the horse.
It's the Maximus, baby.
Now remind me, it triggers on 3 power and 5 power, or is it just 5 power?
So at the end of the turn, of course, you gain. If you have 5, you're good, and then 10
Oh, 10.
is if you gain
Okay.
5 lore. If you
Gotcha.
have 10 strength.
So unfortunately, I don't know that Dylan's ever hit. I know he's playing the Scepter of Arendelle to give things support, so he has the opportunity to get to 10. But with 1 card in his hand or 2 cards in his hand, 1. Okay. I don't think he's getting there, but I do kind of hope he has a Prince John to at least get 1 trigger. Because I'll be honest, I don't know if I've ever seen a Maximus trigger, and that would be pretty exciting.
Yeah, no, I don't think I've ever seen one either. I mean, this Maximus is going to be great. And what's even better, it's a foil Maximus.
Oh,
It's shiny.
Yeah.
It's great. It's going to be really fun. We get to see this thing happen.
I will say this deck, I am interested in maybe personally keeping an eye on Dylan throughout the day. Personally, just because I know this deck is like relatively strong. I think this is like the one matchup that it can kind of struggle in because it just Pirate's Life, Be Prepared. These cards are all so detrimental to what it's trying to do. Not keeping anything on the board is just and Sama just being like, oh, nice 5 willpower characters you have over there. It would be a shame if Be Prepared and wiping the entire board is so detrimental. But I think it has so many other good matchups that it's pretty strong and can just start racing its opponent and end the game. Which is pretty cool. I'm hoping this Sama can put in work for Dylan throughout the day today.
Yeah. And, I mean, getting to play these actions now with, of course, Shark, it's just gaining lores, making this Shark really be kind of hard to deal with and has to be dealt with at some point here. Because, I mean, we are at 7, and he's gaining lore quickly with playing those Pirates' Life, and getting the Shark triggers on top of that is going to be insane. And that Maximus is going to have to put in some work here.
Yeah.
If we don't see this Maximus putting in work, it's gonna be catching up on him real quick.
Mine's a Goofy, and I did not see the other card in his hand. This is a tough spot for Dylan. This shark does not ever have to actually go sideways. If Sama does remember and he's careful, he knows that Dylan's on that Goofy. He saw it last game. He needs to be careful. He can't ever turn that Goofy sideways. Or he can't ever turn this shark sideways, excuse me. Because the moment he does, he might just start losing the game. So he has to be extremely careful. He hasn't played this card in his hand for a while. And so you have to be like, is that the Goofy? Is he like waiting for my shark to go sideways to play it? So Sama does have to be a little careful.
Now, there's two different Goofies he's playing.
Oh, is he playing another
He's
one?
playing two different Goofies. We are playing the Super Goof
Oh yeah.
and the Flying Goof.
Yep.
So both of them can gain him. Can either deal with the characters or gain lore.
Yeah.
Which can be very devastating here. But we do get to see the Sisu now coming down, taking out that Tinkerbell, and potentially getting closer to lore here. Didn't get to do anything with the shark effect yet, but we now get to see a Mulan in hand. He drew
Yeah.
a Mulan. Okay.
But he doesn't have the shift target for it, so he doesn't have a way to give it more strength because it's only 2 strength, and it needs to use the shift ability to get the +3, so to be at 5. Um, so he has to be kind of careful with this Milan. I don't think it's gonna put in a ton of work. I think it's just a matter of, hey, I need to play it to start questing for 2.
Oh yeah, no, that's all it's going to be doing.
I think that's what he has to do. Yep. He's got the deep sea trouble one too.
He does. Ooh,
They're
the pretty
pretty.
one.
Yeah, they are pretty. The tentacles and stuff are all pretty cool. I do like the effect on these. I haven't actually gotten to see the Reign of Jafar ones. I didn't buy like the box or anything, so I haven't gotten to see them personally.
I've only seen pictures of them, and they look gorgeous in the pictures. I just
Yeah.
haven't got to physically see
Yeah,
one, and
physically seen them.
I've been
I
hearing
do
a
want
lot of
to.
good things about them. I've almost think they're even better than the Ursula ones.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. I know they have like a bit of more of a sand effect on them. So that'll be.
I mean, even the foilings is quite different because it's got more of the. It's a little shinier, not like that darker.
Well, I wonder if they
foiling
changed
to
it for because they like switched foiling processes between these 2 boxes. So I wonder if that was part of it too.
That was probably a reason.
Seeing the Timatoa come down finally, going to start grabbing his popsicles back and start drawing a bunch of cards. Definitely what Sama wants to be doing right now. Hopefully finds more fuel for this shark. And Dylan's just sitting here hoping. I'm hoping I can trigger this Maximus at least one. He needs to trigger this Maximus. So, luckily, the Maximus doesn't care about his opponent's power, just his own character's strengths. So that's kind of nice. Where Flynn cares about the entire board state. So at least Dylan doesn't have that much to worry about. Like he can just play a Maui Hero Wall and not do anything with it, and it'll actually trigger for him.
Yeah, no, that Maximus is great, not having to worry about your opponent's side of the field and how strong they are. Because I mean, right now, having that shark on the field is going to be very hard to deal with. But we see a let it go on our good friend the Maximus.
Unfortunately.
Sadly, Maximus has left the building.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Wow.
But I don't blame Sama. He wants to get the trigger. He's looking in a very strong position right now. If Dylan cannot find an answer, then he's just gonna lose this game, unfortunately. We'll have to see what he does though. He might have some tricks up his sleeve still. Never out of it until you're out of it. See what Dylan's got here. He does have the Milan that can start shooting her arrows at people, though. Again, that only being 2 power, it's just not quite enough to take things out on the board here, unless he has something to give it power.
Yeah, it's not going to do a lot. But I mean, the Scrooge here is a 5/5 that can at least kind of stick around for a little bit. But I don't know what the last. Do you remember what the last card is in his hand?
No, but Sama's pushing 18 lore next turn. And Dylan doesn't have a way to take anything on right now, I think. So if he finds 2 actions and just has 2 actions lying around, or a Pirate's Life or something, this game might be over. We'll have to see what Sama has.
I was going to say, a Pirate's Life is going to end the game.
Yeah.
If we see a Pirate's Life, which it doesn't look like we see a Pirate's Life, but we do get to see a Popsicle in his hand, so he could draw it here.
Yeah. He's just going to start drawing a bunch of cards, I think. I think he grabbed 2 Popsicles from the Tamatoa, so we'll have to see.
There could be a chance where we see a Pirate's Life here winning off the game. We see 1 Popsicle being played, and then debating on the next one. Are we figuring out what the next one? Oh, and there it is. He got the Pirate's Life to close out the game. I can't believe it.
Yeah. This game was really solid. I think both players played really, really well. It's just that Dylan ended up running out of steam. Like, he had such a strong start, and then just running out of out of steam. Um, Running out of steam like that, unfortunately for this deck, especially against Ruby Sapphire, is be so hard. Um, so
Yeah, that was definitely a very interesting match seeing. I
yeah,
mean, we did get to see the Maximus being played like you wanted. You
I
saw
saw
the
it played.
Maximus
It
being
got
played.
played at the very
It got
least.
played. That's all you asked for. You didn't say anything else
Yeah, that's
until
true.
after it
That's
came
true.
out. You said you wanted to see that card
I'll
being
be more
played.
careful with my wishes next
I
time.
know. Hey, we might be able to see it again. You
That's
never
true.
know. Somebody else could be playing this card.
I wouldn't be surprised to see this deck again.
I
This
would.
deck is like relatively strong. It just against Ruby Sapphire in particular with Be Prepared, it can be a little rough to keep your big bodies around.
Yeah, no, it definitely could be a little bit of a rough one to kind of stick around with. And it definitely was a rough match against this particular version of Ruby Sapphire here. It definitely was a rough. Like I said, I hope we get to see more of this. I really like this. I like Dylan's deck. I think it's cool to see. Like
I
you
think
said, the
both the players
Maximus
did
is
very,
great.
very well.
They did really well. Yeah, they did extremely well. They played everything perfectly. I mean, they did what they could, and they fought, and they were both really close to 20 towards the end. They got really neck and neck. It was
Yeah.
a really close game.
Alrighty, I think we're gonna go to standby for just a little bit here, and we'll be next. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back for round 2 in just a few minutes.
We will see you then.